Merry Christmas. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Santa coming live from the North Pole, wishing our friends over at Let Freedom Ring a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're going to be seeing you real soon. Here's a little drum solo from Santa. Ho, 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 ho.
Welcome, Let Freedom Ring. We really appreciate that shout out from Santa Claus. That is just really awesome that he was thinking of the show. You got to understand, in the North Pole, they don't have the best service, so that's kind of why the video looks the way it does. But Santa, thank you. We're wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and we're also thinking of Jerry out there from Atomic Launch. Everybody on the team is thinking of you, brother. But my guest this week, Brett Bellerose. Brett, welcome to the show.
Dan, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, appreciate you coming on. Let's get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
So I'm from Lowell, Mass. I lived there most of my life growing up through childhood. I did have a short stint in New Hampshire. I lived in Hudson for a year.
Okay.
And Nashua for a year. I think it was 7th grade was Nashua, and then 8th grade was Hudson. But I have used an address of my aunt's. Not really supposed to do that, but to go back to Lowell schools. So I only went to Hudson Memorial when I was in Hudson for 1 year. I was going to go to Alvin. We ended up coming back to Lowell, and I've been in Lowell ever since. And then I moved 2 years ago, right before COVID hit. 3 years ago before COVID hit, 2020. I moved to Florida with a buddy down to Plantation, right outside of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
So I lived there for about 6 months. COVID hit. The gym I was working at had to shut down. Obviously, everyone knows how that went. So, it got to a point where it was tough. It was not. So I ended up coming back, and I've been here since, and I'm in Lowell now. So
nice. Did you get homesick at all while you were in Florida?
Or? At first it was like the honeymoon stage. It was 80 degrees and sunny, every day for 35 days. So I was loving it. But as the pandemic hit, obviously, we never, as a country, we never been through nothing like that. And never mind me as a person. And I'm like, I was like, I didn't really know what to do. Couldn't work at the time. So I made the decision eventually. I'm like, I'll go back. Then I started getting homesick, so I was going to go back home and go from there. But I ended up getting a really good job that I wanted at home and started my business. And so,
oh, nice.
So it worked out.
Nice, awesome. I got to ask about Lowell a little bit. We were just talking off camera about the Lowell Holiday Wrestling Tournament, which is like, that goes back. I wrestled in it 20 years ago, and that it was going way before that. Did you play any sports growing up in Lowell?
So yeah, I played. So baseball, I didn't make the team my freshman year. I was the last cut. I was heartbroken from that for years. Sophomore year, I came back. I made the team. I didn't take the grades and stuff situation as serious as I should have, so I became ineligible, unfortunately, after the report cards came out. Junior year, went back out, hurt my shoulder. So, and then senior year, the coach told me senior year, hey, come back out, we want you on the team. And I looked at Lowell's a big school, there was some politics in the sports and stuff, and I was like too hard-headed to be like, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to play, they're not going to pay, I'm going to sit in the bench, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And kind of one of the big regrets, I thought I should have, because I know, I definitely, could have worked hard and got the starting spot that I wanted, so that was a big regret. So I did play baseball for that, short time. I played football freshman year and sophomore year. And then outside of that, just kind of played rec sports, basketball, mostly just football, baseball, basketball, though. Never really dabbled in any other sports.
Yeah, no, going to a big school, it's hard. I graduated before Nashville High split. Yeah. And I remember when it split, I was like, man, I really wish I went to school during the split. Like, there were so many kids. Like, I can tell you when sophomore year of baseball, I was like, I'll probably end up on JV, and then I'll probably eventually get cut. And I said, I'm just going to go do track and then just play senior Babe Ruth. But, it does suck when there's so many kids.
It's not easy. Even at tryouts, I think my freshman year baseball tryouts, there was, over 100 kids, I'm pretty sure, that tried out. So it's even from there, there's 9 hitting crews of people just hitting in the cages. You're with some of these kids you grew up playing with, oh, this guy, he's really good, or he was one of the best growing up with, and you're always wondering, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? And that freshman year, I made it through all the way through, and I was like one of the last names called in the last tryout. So it was heartbreaking, but I knew it wasn't gonna be easy from the start. And then that sophomore year, when I made it right away, I felt like I did it. But of course, grades is a huge part of that, and I didn't take that too seriously. And
it's hard. Grades are hard. I can't say that I was a great student in high school, because I was not. Can I ask this as a Lowell guy? Because I actually hung up this in my place the other day. I found I had an old Lowell Spinners pennant. Are you missing the Spinners? Did you go to any of those games?
I loved going to Spinners. Me and my friends used to go. So way back, well, not too far back, but way back when they were real big in Lowell. We used to get standing room only tickets for it was like $5 or something like that. And me and my buddy get a bunch of us to go, and we'd go, and they had the little gator pit down at the bottom with the steak tips and all that. Then they had the fun zone, and I used to love going to Spinners games. I definitely missed them big time, and with the Lock Monsters, of course. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, I recall that too.
I did definitely miss that. That was a lot of fun growing up. We used to love going to the games. We played baseball, so it was cool. We got to see a couple people, guys that did make it to the pros that came down that far to play in there, so it was fun.
Yeah, I definitely missed that being there. Someone told me something's going in there, and I don't know.
Yeah, I heard something. I know UML plays, but I don't really know if they said something about another baseball team potentially playing there, but I didn't really hear anything further. So
no, that'd be great. I mean, honestly, that was cool to see the Spinners. Growing up in Nashville, we always had Home Stadium.
Yeah,
always had something there, and then the last year they had the New Hampshire Defenders, which was not good, not good at all. The old GM of the Red Sox was one of the owners, and Dan Duquette.
Yeah, Dan Duquette.
And it was horrible. And then eventually the Silver Knights came, and they're entertaining. They're college kids,
Yeah.
It's just good to have baseball in your town.
It is. It's sad because baseball, it's a proven fact. Baseball's kind of dying out as a sport. Not fully, but you know what I mean? The numbers have gone down, especially over the last recent years, and it's sad because that was my first love of sport growing up, baseball.
I agree. It's not like I'm not a fan of MLB, but it's not like when I was a kid where I idolized. Well, obviously I'm older than them now, but I idolized those players.
Yeah, of course.
Not just Red Sox players, growing up with Mo Vaughn and everything, but like Tony Gwynn, Mark McGwire, all these guys, Ken Griffey Jr. They were heroes.
Yeah, they were.
I want to ask this. What are 3 things that everybody should know about you?
So, number one, as I said earlier, I just started my business this year. As anyone close to me knows, I've been talking about it for a good amount of time, that I was going to start a landscape business. And finally this year I took the jump midsummer and I did it. I bought, the equipment, the stuff I needed to get started, and I did it. And by next spring I'll have a full LLC. This year was kind of just a side business, but that's BMB Landscaping. So any of you viewers need any landscaping?
Yeah. We're not telling you to go there. If.
Yes, if, absolutely.
We're staying within the guidelines of Merrimack TV.
And another thing is, I'm a fun, outgoing guy. I love to make people laugh. It's one of my favorite things. I'm sure anyone that's been around me at the softball fields have seen I like to call them skits. They've seen the little skits I put on, and I love my friends. I'm always with my friends, and I value that time. And number 3, let's go with big fear of mine. I'm very afraid of heights.
Oh, really?
So, funny story, I went to a wedding, one of my buddy Dave Couture, I think he has a question in there. I went to his wedding in Telluride, Colorado, and the only way to get to the venue was a ski lift.
Oh, boy.
And it was about a 10-minute ski lift.
Yeah.
So there's some funny snaps out there of me in full panic mode. So, that's one of my biggest fears. I'm afraid of heights. So any friends that are having weddings, try to keep it ground level for me would be good.
How do you do with flying?
So it's more of like a structure thing. You know what I mean? I'm not really scared when I'm up there in the plane, knowing the plane is meant to fly.
Yeah.
But if I'm climbing a 30-foot ladder, or I'm on a ski lift that's a cable hanging wire to wire, which I know is proven to be safe, I just don't feel like it's just weird for me. If I'm on a building top looking over, I'm very scared. But when I'm in that plane, I love the window seat. I love looking out.
Yeah.
I love the landing. I love taking off. But so it's a weird fear. I've had it for years. I never really liked the big rides and stuff. But I did them. I put myself through it because my friends were going on. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a big fear of mine.
I mean, I can't say that I love heights. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we climbed the Statue of Liberty this year and getting to the top. But you don't really see anything till you get to the top.
Yeah, I mean, the trek up's probably, you know, a little safe being inside there. You're not looking out.
Well, if you're afraid of small spaces,
okay,
it's not for you.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
I'm not too much claustrophobic, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, but you know, getting to the top, it was not much. It really is like the crown, and you can't really see all that much, anyways. So when I got to the top, I was like, oh, I envisioned this different.
Yeah, the bigger picture.
Sticking with the theme of the show, which is "Let Freedom Ring." We should put that on a T-shirt. I keep saying that. We got to put it on a T-shirt.
I'll grab one for sure if you do.
What does it mean to you to be an American?
I mean, so for me, it's like I said, I'm sure a lot of people kind of go to this, but I mean, freedom's the biggest thing that comes to mind first, of course. And another one's just like opportunity. Like, for example, I said, you know, I started my business. Like, I feel like in America, really, it's anything you put your mind to. If you really want to do that, you can do that. You have the opportunity to do it, and you have the resources all over. And even if something like, if that fails for you the first time, like, there's so many doors to open, which, I mean, makes America appealing in general. It's the land of opportunity. There really is. There's so many routes you can take, and, you know, everyone has their calling and stuff, but you can really just do whatever you want to do, you know, and then you got the freedom to do that. And it's just, that's really the first thing that comes to mind for me. Like, I've wanted to start the business for so long, and like, basically just up one day and said, bought the stuff, you know, started little business cards and word to mouth of the people I've known, and, you know, that's kind of just go from there. And then the resources come up from the social media and this, that, and so it's just the freedom of just being able to kind of do whatever you need to do, and freedom of speech and all that stuff. It goes a long way.
No, I agree, and you know, not everybody I feel like is at the same level, because you know, we do have social things that can cause issues.
Yes,
but
of course.
I think, but that is true. Like, there is nothing the government really. I mean, obviously, there's other things that can happen, but like, you're right. If you want to start a business, you have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, I like that answer. I want to get into this a little bit. A lot of people know you through softball. Now, we know you were a baseball player growing up, but what got you into slow pitch softball in the crazy world that we were involved in?
So I grew up down the street from a field, Harry Allen, which some people know. It's a field in Lowell. We've played some tournaments there, not really any U-Trip tournaments. We played like some fun cash tournaments, stuff like that there. That was the first field I've ever been around. So even growing up as kids in high school, we used to go there and watch the games, the slow pitch games, and wait for them to finish so we can play our lob ball baseball.
Okay.
And we used to sit there on the logs that they had there, and we would like be like, we will never, ever play this sport ever. And we made like a pet, like we will never, ever play softball. Like, it's dumb and this, that. And then, so about 7 years ago, my buddy Gil, he was on a softball team at the Harry Allen League. It was a low league, about 12 teams. It was a pretty big league back in the day. And he kept telling me, hey, do you want to? And I'm like, yeah, I do want to play. He's like, all right, well, I don't have a spot on my team, but, you know, one of the teams in the league needs a guy. Are you in or not? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. He's like, all right, come down tomorrow. So I was, all stoked. And I'm like, and I called my buddy Kyle I grew up with, and I'm like, we said we'd never do this. And I'm like, now here we are. And he's like, yeah, I want to play too. So we all kind of ended up getting in that same league, joined a team, and weren't really that good at first. And then the next year, kind of, you know how it works. Everyone, all the good players started, we formed our own team, and we ended up winning. We got the taste of winning the championship and having fun. And from there, kind of it started off as just leagues, and I networked through meeting people that told me about U-Trip and told me about, and then, you just expanded the horizons from there. But I got into it, I think it was about 7 years ago now.
So you're like early 20s then?
Yeah, I was, I believe 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
Right around there, yeah. So, and I said I would never, ever play, but, I'm sure most of us have, so.
No, it's funny you say that, like, never thought you would ever play, right? Similar. Like, I remember seeing that when I was playing baseball growing up, and they would play at Grayley Park, because I lived right next to Grayley Park. And I'd be like, what? And I don't know, I feel like maybe because I was smaller, and maybe people they looked huge to me, though.
These guys, I thought everyone was Mark McGuire that was playing. It was a bunch of just, I feel like, big, strong dudes who were hitting the ball a mile. Yeah. And now, obviously, I see it this differently. But again, maybe we were smaller, so.
I don't know, but I was like, what are they doing? Like, softball is like, that's a girl's sport or whatever, and I couldn't imagine playing it. one thing I can say is like, and I'm just not I won't wear the baseball pants unless like I'm on a team that's like that we have to. I remember they would wear those, and I'd be like, what, like,
like playing softball.
Yeah,
I was like that at first too. I mean, going to Worlds and playing on the turf, it ended up being a little different. I don't mind the pants, playing infield, stuff like that, but. I'm like, I'm not wearing a uniform for, my baseball uniform to come play underhand softball. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, I see. I'll always buy the shorts. If I'm on a team like then I'm going to follow the crowd.
Yeah, of course.
What I mean, but
it looks good. It does. I mean, I will say if you like I said, you got a full team and you're playing in a big tournament, everyone on the team says, hey, we're going to wear pants. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the one guy in the shorts and the leggings. So.
Yeah,
that's a good call for sure.
It's funny though, because like I never thought I would play, and when I got to Plymouth State, it was like the first thing I wanted to do, because I was a transfer student. Like I went to community college, went there, and I was like, how do I get involved? Like, because it's funny like how 2 years change everything.
Yeah.
It's like I knew baseball was all done. I hadn't played since I was like 18. 2 years later, I was like itching to play.
I want to play. Yeah,
I'll play softball.
Of course.
Now here we are. It's like still playing to this day. What do you enjoy most about playing?
For me, I mean, I feel like it's just the escape, from, I don't want to say the escape from reality, like I'm running from that, because I'm not, but like that, just like when I'm playing the game of softball and I'm in between, the white lines or in the dugout or whatever, like I'm looking for the next play. I'm looking at, what are we going to do as a team to win this game here? Like nothing really else, matters. You're just able to, and I'm a competitor. I love to compete. I love to win. I also do see the fun in it. I really do value the fun part of the game too. I want to have fun. I don't want to be those hardos or that.
That's
not my style. I like to stay humble and just play the game and have fun and play with people I enjoy. But for me, it's just that escape. Like I said, I mean, if I'm in the field defensively, like all that's on my mind is what I'm gonna do if the ball comes to me, or like. Scenario, anticipation of what's going to happen, or if I'm in the dugout waiting to bat, what am I going to do that next at bat? So it's just like everything else don't really, matter in the moments. Like for people like lose a pet or something, and I did. I lost my dog Stella a few maybe 6 months ago or so, but it was during softball season, and like being able to go to the Merrimack the night of it happened and playing in a game, it's just like. For that 60-minute game, I totally, it's like it wasn't on my mind. It was just that game and that next play, and just the game itself. It really is. It's an escape from reality.
It is, and it's like how do I end up playing like almost every night? It's because like that's what I want to do.
I do.
Especially when it's nice. But the thing is, it's like even when it's cold, I'm like, yeah, I'd rather be at the softball field than not be at the softball field.
I say it all the time. I mean. Everyone, would say like, oh, you're always playing here and there, and then like you said, if I can be home watching TV at 7:00 at night, or you can tell me I can take a 25-minute ride to Nashua and go play at Udicki for the night, like I'm probably gonna do that.
Yeah,
I'd rather play. You know what I mean? I'd rather run around, play, and compete, and have fun, other than opposed to sitting in front of the TV or really not doing not knowing what to do.
I'm with you. I can't really and don't get me wrong. I guess I'm more of a movie guy as years gone on, where I like to watch movies and documentaries. But like just sitting, I don't enjoy just sitting. I've realized about myself as I've gotten older. I like to be constantly doing stuff. And softball gives you that, and it's the place where you hang out with your friends, right?
Of course, yeah.
And even people that you played against, all of a sudden you're like, man, I thought I didn't like that person. Now, hey, we're buds.
I have many of friends that at first time I've ever met them, kind of, maybe not my favorite person, whatever. But now, come to this day, like I'm very close friends with some of these people now, and like you meet people, like you said, like even like you said for this show, like you meet people from a lot of different backgrounds, and when you're on the softball field, you're all really doing the same thing. You know what I mean? You can all relate at that point, no matter where you're from, what you did. So it's cool. I mean, I've met a ton of people over the years of playing softball, and some of them, like I said, are really close friends to this day. So.
Yeah, I was talking to Brandon today off air, not obviously off air, I was on a phone call, but we were just saying, like, I don't think I'll ever, like, stop. Like, if it gets to the point where even when I'm older, like, let's say 60s, I'll do something.
I will, yeah.
I'll do something. I mean, if it's
pickleball's big. And
that's getting big.
It looks fun, so.
I got Maddie Cuming was on the show. He gave me a whole disc golf set. So I'll have something, but I mean, I think softball is just something that I just... Maybe I'm not following MLB like I used to, but like the game and how much like when I go to Cooperstown, it doesn't. I've been there like 11 times. Every time I go, I'm like a little kid still.
So I've never been, and I talked about it with my buddies. I'm like, we got to just pick a weekend and get down there.
Just go to Hall of Fame weekend, even if it's not a Red Sox. It's just unbelievably
I can only
awesome.
Imagine.
It's so awesome. I've seen Ortiz go in, Pedro, Carlton Fisk. I did see Kirby Puckett go in. We went one year and it was so much fun. We said, let's go again. It's not a Red Sox, but...
So what? At that point, that's a good time.
What have been some of your favorite moments that you've had playing?
So, I mean, a few years back, I'm sure, a lot of people know when Orlando and a bunch of us started the Ville, that first Ville team that we came in and played D's, we had kind of all of our friends in that team. It was me, Bones, Orlando, Whoa, Jan, like all of the people that we played locally with, that at our Jokers League or our low leagues, and all of some of my close friends. When we finally started that, when we had success that year, we didn't do as obviously that well at Worlds, which is what counts, but throughout the year we won some tournaments, some big tournaments against some really good teams, and that was just a blast for me. Like, that was a lot of fun, and being able to play, like I said, the people that I enjoyed playing with the most and actually having success. And some people, didn't think we were going to be that great, and it was cool, exceeding expectations and just being able to do it with, like I said, the people I enjoyed playing with. Yeah, my buddies. And I mean, that was, and then we made a run when I played with Smith. It was my first time going to Florida. With them, they obviously were a great team. Played with them all year, and we went down to Florida. We made a hell of a run and finished in 4th place. So that was an awesome experience, just being able to be in the that Sunday, play that on that field Sunday with all the cameras, and and it was awesome. It was a cool experience. So we did that, and then I finished 4th place and mixed with Diamond Cutters as well. So those were obviously 2 great moments. Being able to, like I said, play on that Sunday, which what you play for. You don't want to leave Worlds on Friday or Saturday. You want to be there that final day.
Unfortunately, it's like that's what most people have to do.
and we all know that. Even being that close, it stinks because you're that close and you feel like it's right there. But I mean, it just felt like once that game's over and you realize, like, hey, that's it's out of the 155 teams that were here, we're the 4th. It's a good run, and it was a lot of fun. But just really moments for me, like, it's just playing with the people I like to play with. Winning obviously big tournaments it's awesome. It's a great feeling, and it's just a fun. It's what makes it fun, really.
Well, now I gotta ask this: is the Ville is that another name for Lowell? What is that? What is?
So I mean, just to make this clear, I started the Ville.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that. I know Orlando's not gonna like that one, but it's the truth, and he knows it. So the Ville came. We started. I can't say just me personally. My group of friends that I grew up with, we lived in a section of Lowell called Centerville. Okay. And so we just had the nickname for some reason, the Ville, and we've called it that since maybe freshman year. Before that, and we had a street football team. We played like street tackle football against other kids in Lowell, and so we called ourselves the Ville. And then from there, it went from street football to organized flag football teams, from flag football teams to my first softball team I ever ran, my league teams, and then we did charity tournament teams and blah blah, and it kind of ran with that. And then when Orlando did do tons of great things.
He's a big marketer for softball teams.
He did a lot of great things with the Ville and the name, and obviously he's the one that made it happen when we got together and had those times. But yeah, it came from really just that Centerville section of Lowell, and we just called it the Ville. And I think Louisville, the college team, I think they have the Ville as well. That's one of their things, because I did see it one time. We were watching college football. And I just happened to go past the billboards on the back, and I'm like, wait, rewind that. And it just said the Ville, and I'm like, no way, that's our name.
Copyright infringement. Yeah. I was always curious about that because I figured I knew it had ties to Lowell somehow.
Yes.
I just didn't know what the story behind it.
Yeah, was. It's a section of Lowell we grew up in called Centerville, but we shortened that up to the Ville.
Awesome.
And it started street football and kind of ran its way to softball now, and here we are.
And now there's T-shirts and everything.
Now it's apparel.
Gotta ask this. You've been on social media. I've been on social media. I don't know much about the Challenge Cup selections or anything. I just go with what I kind of see. But
of course,
there's been a lot of, I guess, hurt feelings or people upset about the selections. You have any take on the controversy? Because it's like I'm seeing these on multiple posts at this point.
So I mean, I believe it or not, I'm not one. I don't really especially if a post has 110 comments. I do sometimes, love to scan, but there's also those times where I'm like, I'm not even getting into it right now. But I mean, the Challenge Cup, I played a few years back. It goes by, so when your state championship, your state tournament, if the team that wins a state tournament, that coach is now the coach of the Challenge Cup team.
Okay.
So we played against really good team, OSS. They beat us in the state. They double dipped us actually in the state tournament, and their coach in Orlando was the assistant, and that was the year I got selected. And of course, my coach was the assistant. That plays part in. So for me, the Challenge Cup's always, I feel, going to be a semi-biased selection because of it coming from a team that won, and I feel like deservingly so. Kind of, if you win your state tournament, then you're the best in the state. Maybe for that day, but that's just kind of how it goes. And I mean, I know every year I feel like it's going to be the same thing every year. Every year it's that time of the year. Challenge Cup's around. The pictures get sent of the rosters, and you're going to have those snarky comments and all that. And for me, like I said, I mean, I feel like you shouldn't want to need that confirmation as you're a good player. Everyone wants to play for their state, and I mean, I did it, and it's awesome, and it's an experience that I agree. I mean, everyone should want to do it, but you should just kind of know deep down inside if you're confident and you're humble and what you bring to a table for a team. Can you potentially be on that roster? Yeah, you probably could, but the way that selection process worked and the team that won and the people they know and who that's just kind of.
And not everybody can just go to Florida.
So some people, even some of the people that make the comment, not to point, some people maybe they couldn't even swing the trip because of work or something like that, and it's just that's why I don't anytime I had my time and it was awesome, and I'd like to think I could play again, and maybe I can, and if I do, I do, and if I don't, you can't, it's only so much you can control, and if the selection process is out of your control, then just work harder and show up next year and try to maybe do above and beyond and get yourself noticed to more of that maybe you will get selected or.
Well, and even if you don't, I mean, it sounds to me that what you're saying is the team that wins states, that coach is making the selections. Kind of like the All-Star game where after the fan vote, I believe it's the managers that pick the rest.
And I know I'm not fully, I'm not 100% on all that, but I know they do. They have, there's a select, the director does make his few selections or has his guys that from certain teams, because you can't just pick the whole roster of your team that wins. You can't do that. I know that. But I mean, I'm sure, like I said, there is some, bias of, who's the guys you want to bring down. You're the coach, So I mean, if you're coaching a team, wouldn't you want to select that team to who you're going to bring, opposed to just having people thrown at you?
Might make it easier because you can know how to manage the people you pick.
Exactly, and know kind of what you're getting, opposed to going into it blindsided.
Yeah, I think it's a tough thing. I mean, honestly, I think it's fine to have an opinion. It's social media age where it's I think I told Dylan LaRue this. I said, not everything has to be a public conversation. It doesn't have to be. If you do feel that way, that you were slighted or whatever, I don't know if that has to be out for everybody.
Maybe just reach out to the local, the director you're looking to, that state that you're looking to play for. Reach out to them and ask him how they came to the conclusion of the roster. You know what I mean? If you really, putting it out there, so then you're going to get everyone else to chime in, and of course,
having the peanut gallery involved is never a good thing.
No, and you may not mean something maliciously, but again, if you put it on this platform, you're opening a door for many different angles to come and voice their opinion now. So
it almost gets not worth it a lot, and it happens a lot in softball.
It does.
Chris Foster he felt like he had to defend Sober Worlds, and he put it on this page, and then I'm reading the comments. I was like, I don't know if this needs to be if you're content with what you're doing, you don't have to defend it to other people. And now just opening up the floodgates for everything, it's this is I don't know if this has to be public.
It goes back to exactly what I said. If you feel that you can play for X Challenge Cup team or Y, whatever, then you don't maybe necessarily need to voice that. You should just know what you can bring to a table for a team, whether it's that Challenge Cup team or it's your next year's team, or
control you can control.
You can only control with what you control. The selection process is how it goes, and maybe something they can do is maybe some type of showcase tournament where it gives guys, maybe it's a tournament in Connecticut or wherever, and it gives guys a chance to put your teams in or whatever and showcase, and maybe that's where they'll have the directors there of XYZ states, and now they can watch players play and note, take your note. This guy did this, but again, like for me, it's you may have played great in that showcase, but how does that transpire to a consistency level? Or
I think I don't know how this all works, so I'm just spitballing here. Is maybe if you have a select amount from each team, and the coach picks from his team who's going to go.
Exactly.
That's the only other way I can think of it, and maybe you do a coaches meeting with all the coaches involved.
Yeah,
that's it's a tough thing.
I'm sure they're working on ways behind the scenes as well, of their own ways, knowing that maybe ways they can fix it and make it better.
Yeah, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but again, I don't think, arguing with it on a post is going to do anything. Maybe that's a conversation between individuals.
Exactly.
I do want to get into the fan questions here. Orlando Aponte. I always mess that up. He has 2 questions. Is he going to show up? You're here.
Here I am.
Yeah.
I made it.
Who loves him more, Sam Hill or Michael Thomas?
Tough question. I think there's tough love from all ends of both those relationships, but Sam's a great cook, tremendous cook. Not so much a great person. I've told her that many times.
Complete rivalry.
That's out there. Michael Thomas, keep it PG. He's not the nicest guy in the world to me. But he's my buddy, and he knows that. So, but if I had to choose one, geez, that's tough. As people know on social media, they both are all over me. I'll go with Sam Hill.
I think she has a soft spot for you.
Yeah, I think she has a soft spot. She has given me food at the field. So when you're giving your food to someone, Hud on the other hand, I don't think he'd give me his food. So we're gonna go with that for that reason.
Sam Hill actually has the next question. Was this a last resort? Because I definitely could think of 6,187 other people that could spend your valuable time with. No, Brett was the number 1 choice,
and
so
I appreciate it, and I don't think there's any looking back at this point. Here I am. So those other 6,487 people didn't make.
I don't even know if I know that many people, to be honest.
I don't think Sam knows that many people. Okay.
Dave Couture wants to know. Oh, he just says, and we do allow comments too. I said, this should be good. So Dave, hope you tune in.
I think let's comment on that real quick. I think maybe he was kind of hoping for a 2 a.m. Friday night, Brett, maybe, but he's going to get the 5:15 Thursday night, Brett. So
be right before Christmas, Brett.
It is still good, Dave. I promise you.
Tony Martineau wants to know. Oh no, he doesn't want to know. He has another comment.
Okay.
We got a lot of comments here. He's the best 6th grade grader in the Merrimack Men's Softball League.
Coming from the oldest guy in the Merrimack League, I really appreciate that from him. He's a great guy.
They call him Tony Softball or something?
Softball Tony.
Softball
Tony, yeah.
I've seen him around for a long time.
Yeah, if you ever go to Merrimack on game days, he'll be there at about 4:30 doing BP. Probably takes about 700 swings before the game starts, yeah. Maybe doesn't let the other guys swing sometimes, but whatever works for him. But
hey,
That's my guy, though. Sure.
Marcia Schrieb?
Yeah, one of my childhood best friend's moms.
She just said, what type of questions can I ask? Haha, the things we could find out. So she didn't actually elaborate or anything, so she didn't go into depth, but apparently she has a lot of questions for you.
Yes, well, she's known me since I was about 10 years old, maybe 9, so she knows a lot about me. I've basically spent summers at her house with one of my best friends, Kenny, so... if there's any questions, Marsha, out there, you can message me them, and we'll
you know where to find them.
Yeah, you know where to find me for sure.
I got to ask this because we promoted the show that you were a former vegan. How did you become a vegan, and how did you decide that you no longer wanted to be one?
So, I fell off the wagon to put it there for no longer. But so I grew up with one of my close friends who was a heavyset kid growing up our whole lives, and one of our other friends from high school, he started this holistic fitness type, and he got his detoxification certification and went really deep into the holistic lifestyle. And he put my buddy through, my buddy ended up signing up for his programs that he threw, and he did a complete detox and a cleanse, which was an all organic fruits and veggies cleanse with herbs for your genetic weaknesses. And it goes deep. I won't get that too deep into that, but so he did it, and he lost like 155 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And he was like a complete different person. And like he was so happy, and he had so much like positivity flowing out of him. And I used to like kind of just, I'd be like, dude, like, you know, drop the ego.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, I understand you lost a lot of weight. And like, and I kind of would like, you know, crap on it a little bit. And then, like, you know, I realized one day, like, a couple other people did it, and I realized, I'm like, you know, I didn't want to be a follower, but I'm like, you know, but maybe I should give it a shot. And I reached out to my buddy Angel, who does that now, which he's, to this day, way deeper into it, and it's awesome. But, so I reached out to him, and I ended up doing the cleanse. I did a 35-day detox, like a cleanse, and I think I lost, like, 32 pounds in those 35 days of it. And the way I felt was unbelievable. Like, the energy I had, and like, I actually apologized to my buddy. I was like, dude, like, you know, I was crapping on you for, you know, running with these high vibes. I'm like, I feel it. Like, I'm like, I just wake up every day with natural energy. And so after the cleanse, I just continued to be a vegan for, I think it was almost a year and a half. And health-wise, it was the best year and a half of my life. I felt great. I was in shape. Started getting real expensive, like really, you know, I was definitely going overboard. Everything was organic and everything, so it got real expensive. And slowly, I kind of slowed down, and eventually, just like kind of anything else, and I kind of just, it slowly started winding its way off, and then poof, it's gone. But I actually just reached out to my buddy yesterday, and I've been talking to him, and I'm actually gonna get back on the cleanse after the holidays.
Nice.
And I don't think I'm gonna do vegan after that. It's tough, and I do enjoy my cookouts and this, that, but I think kind of like a pescatarian type thing. Like, just eat clean, you know, cleaner foods. None of the processed foods, you know. No, I'm not a big, maybe no dairy, which I know it's tough. Cheese, I love cheese. Who doesn't? But it was definitely life changing, and I kind of do regret stopping from where I was, because I did it for so long, and I built it at, you know, I got so deep into it, but. Just like anything else, you know, some things, inconsistencies and inconsistencies, and but I mean, yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend it. Like I said, I don't know if I'll go full vegan again when I do this cleanse, but I'm gonna go from there and see where it goes. But I just kind of fell off the wagon. I started because of just seeing all the changes my buddy went through, and then like believing in it. And then when I did do my friend's detox, I realized, I'm like, it is exactly what, you know, he portrayed it to be.
No, can you drink coffee when you're a vegan, or?
Yeah, and I believe you can. I'm not like, so the thing is, I wasn't full, like, I didn't know every type of food. I would just more ask him, but I'm pretty sure you can drink coffee as vegan. You just, if you're gonna have anything in it, it's gonna be like a dairy-free milk, and you're gonna put like a raw sugar, as opposed to, like, you know, a Domino sugar or something like that. And
it is. I mean, food's so difficult, because you're right, it does get expensive. Like, I have some stomach issues going on, and I don't think I need to be gluten-free. I don't think they're right about what they're trying to rule everything out. And even trying to just do gluten-free, I'm like, this adds up, and it's hard. It really is.
It was real pricey, but I mean, like you said, just the way, like, it's hard to explain, because like the way I felt every day from eating that clean foods and like keeping all the junk out of my body, it was like I didn't, like, saying, like, you know, can I drink coffee? I didn't really need coffee. Like, I'd wake up in the morning and, you know, have a bowl of fruit and be ready to rock, opposed to, like, you know, eating a steak and cheese sub 2 hours before I go to bed, and waking up in the morning, I'm a little groggy, and, you know, you're a little slower. It's really, you really feel the difference in the energy levels through the food. Like,
they did tell me too that, like, you can't eat, you know, so many hours before bedtime, you know, which is like, I guess that makes sense.
There's so many things, you know, and that's why even when I did it, like, all my friends didn't jump on the wagon with me. You know, I would go to pizza shops with them when they were, you know, eating pizza and frying, like, never shun them. I never would, like, try to force it on them. Like, you know, it's everyone's eating habits, and the way your health is, like, it's on, you know, that's on you and however you're comfortable. And I would tell people, like, I'm a big believer in what I was doing was definitely the right thing, and it felt good. But again, like, I would try to, you know, force my friends or my family or anyone close to me, because I'm not going to do it to a stranger, but, like, try to be like, you know, this is the way, this is the only way, and, like, you know,
no, you really can't do, and everybody's got to do their own journey, whatever, you know. I'm a person in recovery. That doesn't mean, like, I have issues with people drinking and doing their own thing.
Yeah, you just have to have your own strengths, and, you know.
It's no, I totally get that. Want to talk about this, though, some top fives, Patriots edition. You're a big fan.
Yep.
And I think I got about 10 years on you, so you really started to grow up Brady era, I'd have to imagine.
My father will tell me days ends that I'm spoiled and I've only seen the good and I've never been through the tough, and he kind of tells me like, he's a big pessimist, which and I'll get to that, but he tells me he'll always say like, so this is how it was before, Brett, like how it is, this is how it was before, get used to it, because like we went through years of this.
But and they say that that is going back a ways, because even me, like I started watching football, Drew Bledsoe was there, and they had some not to this level, but I mean they were in the Super Bowl by the time I was in 6th grade. Whether they won or lost doesn't matter. They were in the Super Bowl.
You were guaranteed an AFC Championship game every year.
Once Brady came in.
Yeah. You're guaranteed that it was.
But even though
it was one hell of a run.
I just don't like this. Like they were totally awful with Bledsoe. Like they had some losing seasons, but nothing like what we're seeing now.
No, it was.
Because
I've even being a fan before I even started to watch, I'd read into those seasons, or I'd look back into time and see how we were as a team, and I'd see. But I mean, this is much different, especially for someone like me who's seen many years of success and not much of the leading up to that.
Well, obviously when they first started, it wasn't good, but like they made the Super Bowl once in the '80s, once in the '90s, and the Brady era came. So, what are 5 things? It doesn't have to be 5, but what are some things that you would change about the current team?
So for me right now, I mean, obviously, this is something you can't change in the NFL. But injuries, I mean, if I can change that, I would not want these guys injured. Like, for example, Christian Gonzalez and we've had the injury to Ramondre is now late, but like guys like Trent Brown was banged up, and Michael Owen didn't start the season, and Cole Strange, which I'm not saying I'm not saying these guys are the best guys out there, but I want the full team not injured. And again, this is something I can't change. So,
no.
But if I could, I would change the fact that I wanted to see a full year of Christian Gonzalez, because he came out playing awesome.
He did. Bobby bought his jersey, and he got it 2 days before he got hurt.
Yeah. Well, Bobby, no more jerseys.
Yeah, you cursed him.
Another thing is just, I mean, I know you post about this too, so I definitely would like to bring this, but I wish we kept Malik and gave Malik a chance to play.
Yeah.
Because as a fan, right now, we have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
And I understand, I know they see behind the scenes that we don't see, but I mean, even that preseason game we did see him play, he played well. And not to mention, he just brings some fun to the game. Bailey Zappi's not going to scramble and run for 20 yards. Mac Jones, of course, isn't going to scramble and run. And this guy can. And I know you've posted about it, and I agree with that. I wish we were able to retain him and let him get out there and just see what he has, because who knows? Maybe one day he does play for a team out there and he ends up being similar to Lamar Jackson.
Belichick's he doesn't really work with our offense. I think, as we said, it's dude, 3 years ago we had Cam Newton.
And what's the difference? And not to mention, I feel like you kind of adjust to, maybe you say it's not his offense, but your offense isn't really working
at all.
So maybe it's time to give someone like that a chance. And another thing, we're just kind of going off to this, is personnel in general. Guys we don't have, he's actually just got cut recently, but Ty Montgomery, in the preseason stuff, and I listen to a lot of Patriots podcasts, and I noticed he's doing such great things. And then every time he had the ball, it was electric and stuff. But then you go to these games and it's the same guys, and those other guys aren't even getting a chance to play. And it's even guys like Miles Bryant, get that guy off the field, please.
Yeah.
And then every week he's on the field somehow. And I know depth is a thing, but just the personnel sometimes I'm kind of out of whack with it. You brought this guy in for what, if we're not going to play.
It's turned into, it really has turned into a dumpster fire.
It is, man. It's a tough watch, and I post these feelings on social media every Sunday, so people see them. Well,
at some point, as you can see in my post, I'm just tank. Just do it. At this point, we're not doing anything.
I am a big ruin someone's season guy, but if we lose, we lose. And it does put our draft stock up. So, I'm cool with it.
The night they beat the Steelers was a weird feeling, because I was I'm happy, but this is so irrelevant right now.
It is.
And
it doesn't mean anything.
It just so should we just lost? Because now we're just one game behind the first pick, and it's those players aren't going to quit.
No.
Tanking does nothing for individual players.
No.
So
100%.
I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've been on a crusade against this. I understand that things with Belichick are not great right now, but to just trash the man who was the coach of this team throughout all this, and if you want to just say it was all Brady, then I don't think you know the full picture of all these Super Bowls and everything that went on. But just any reasons why it's just completely classless and crappy for Patriot fans to bash Bill Belichick. Not to say you can't criticize him, but to say he's a clown and he's trash and all these other things.
The people that are like that for me, I mean, they're, like you said, they're not football. They're not real, true Patriots fans. Let's say not football. I mean, if you've seen throughout the years, you could say the Brady, it's the Brady effect and this and that. Brady probably wouldn't have that same success if he didn't have Belichick, and Belichick wouldn't have that same success if he didn't have Brady. They needed each other, and I've been a believer of that since day one, you know. And I'm a big in Bill I trust guy, so I mean, the numbers themselves never lie. He's the guy chasing Don Shula, you know what I mean? Like, he has some of the most wins in NFL history. Like, you don't get that from being a clown or being, and like a lot of people get pissed because he sticks to his script. He doesn't change up. He doesn't switch up for nobody, and that's another thing I respect about him, you know. And yeah, there's some things like, you know, I criticize him too to this day, you know, because I understand it's getting late in the career but there's no reason to bash a guy that has brought a team so much success as the head coach, whether you had Brady or whoever. You're the head coach of the team, you brought the team so much success. You've retained the job now for 20 plus years. I mean, that itself says, so all this 20 plus years, when the going gets tough, now it's time to cut ties with the whole thing. Like, that's not.
And then to, you know, kick him on his way out, because he could potentially be leaving. It's like what they did to Terry Francona.
One of my biggest things is I want him to go out with in a happy way, in a good way.
Yeah.
Whether it's, even if it's not that winning Super Bowl, like, get the team to a place that the team's in a good spot, and let's say if, like, he comes back next season, we have a good draft pick, and we have a good season, maybe make the playoffs, lose in the playoffs, Bill retire, like, go out with something, you know, on the positive note where the things are looking up. Don't just because things got tough, now he goes out, and then like you said, just kick him on the way out and slam the door.
Yeah, and even if you look like the first three Super Bowls, that was a lot on the defense, and not only that, like, listen, if he wasn't a good head coach, I don't care if he has Brady or not, he would have messed it up. So, you know, Phil Jackson had a lot of good players that he coached in two different franchises. So, yeah, let's.
You got to pump the brakes on that. For the people out there that are on that, it's just like, you got to pump the brakes. I mean, you got to see the big picture. You can't look at these last couple of years, and you got to think too. He's working with stuff that like salary cap's real, and the players he got is real. Injuries are real. Like, you know, not everything works your way. So when it goes that way, it's not, you know, it's not just like, oh, it's all him. Players play, coaches coach, and Belichick says it all the time. Players play. So the game. I mean, the coaches put together a game plan, but these players play. So it's.
I think people just like to tarnish someone that had a lot of success when they're at their lowest, and
take them while they're down.
It's disgusting to see that out of people that call themselves Patriots 100%.
Fans. If you're a real Patriots fan, embrace the stink.
Yeah,
embrace the stink. Roll with the punches.
What have been some of your favorite moments, not Super Bowls, but you get to grow up in such an era with Tom Brady and the Patriots. What are some of your favorite moments that were not just Super Bowl wins?
I mean, obviously, a bunch come to mind. I mean, I've told you before the show, I'm not good with dates. I'm not really good with the years stuff. I'm really not good with that, believing how big of a Pats fan I am. My buddy Kyle, shout out to him. He's my resource guy when it comes to putting a timeline on things. But first game that comes to mind is the On to Cincinnati game.
Yeah.
You know, we just got blown out by the Chiefs. Things are down. Dynasty over. Everything's done, you know.
Trent Dilfer, you idiot.
Yeah, exactly. You know, don't even get me started on him. But it's just like everything's done. You know, New England's all done, and then what happens next week? We come out, kick the crap out of the Bengals, and then we roll from there. And if I'm not mistaken, we won the Super Bowl that year, I believe.
I think we won the
Super Bowl that year.
The Seahawks year.
And like that was, so that's a game. Another one is the overtime win in KC, AFC Championship. I know it's close to Super Bowl, but it's not.
No, I didn't think they were going to win. In overtime, I was like, it felt like it was the Chiefs' time.
I can see it in my head, just that handoff, Brady jumping in the background, James White over the. That's a big one for me. And another one that's so the Ravens come back. With the double pass, Edelman to Amendola. I think we were down 14 at half.
Yep,
that was an awesome game to watch.
Too, yeah.
My dad's friend Mike was over watching the game, and he he randomly said, like, before the play was called, he's like, why don't we run some, like, trick play, like a double pass or something? And all of a sudden it happened. And, like, we all looked at him after we were done yelling like crazy. We were like, how the hell did you know that? Like, he was like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I just threw it out there and it happened. And that was, I mean, that was a great game to watch, great comeback. And another one that's a funny backstory is the New Orleans Saints game when Tom Brady threw a touchdown with like 13 seconds left to Kenbrell Tompkins in the back of the end zone. I think it was in October. I think it was the Breast Cancer Awareness Month game, somewhere in there. And so my dad's a big pessimist, I said earlier, and I'm emotional on Facebook, but he's much worse than me. And so even when the Brave things were great, in the heyday, one bad drive, and he was like, "Oh my, there we go," So we were at my aunt's house watching the game. And we left. Like my dad was all, I'm like, Dad, let's stay for the end of the game. It's over. Like, we're leaving. Let's go. Like, we're out of here. I'm, okay. And of course, we're listening to it on 98.5 because we're not going to fully give up. And we pull in the driveway. And we're both about, like, the last snap's about to happen. And we just hear Tom Brady back, so we shut the door and get back in the car. And we just listen to it and hear, like, throw it in the back of the end zone. Kenbrell Tompkins, touchdown.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Okay,
and we're like, oh, like, so we're like, we got to get upstairs. So,
is that when Rex Ryan's brother was on camera?
Yes. Yes. So that's just, like, thinking of that because, like, he gave up and I'm over, and we're listening. We're about to run out of them. We get back in the car and we're like, wait, might as well listen to the last play. And then we run upstairs to watch the replay and, like, and then basically, I mean, any game where Gronk scored was always electric.
It was unbelievable.
The Gronk spikes, the Randy Moss 5 touchdowns or whatever he had, like, there was so many of them that.
And he made like, there were just like, do you remember Danny Woodhead?
Yeah.
Danny. Like, what planet is he an NFL player? You know what I mean?
It's unbelievable. And they just, like, some of the big plays from guys who, like, nowadays you're like, who?
Yeah.
Over the years of just, and it was quite the ride.
There's just so many things that happen, and I'd love to just go back because you can buy the Super Bowl DVDs and they give a full. But like some of the seasons where they didn't win the Super Bowl, there was just always something cool happening.
Yeah.
Always something cool happening.
Like Gronk throwing the Colts player Sergio Brown out of the club when he just basically blocked this guy all the way, like it's almost like some Blindside movie.
Yeah.
It was stuff like that. It's just memories throughout these games, like over the years, such good memories.
I would take all of it for even if we stink now, honestly, because
absolutely
that is just stuff I'll never forget.
That's stuff that may not ever happen again.
No.
The whole rest of the NFL until it ends, you may never get that again, so.
No, I still think when you look at like the greatest franchises in history, right? I'm gonna look to probably the New York Yankees, right? I hate the Yankees.
Yeah, I hate the Yankees.
But if you want to look at the best 20-year run of a team in any sport, that's got to be there.
The Patriots.
Two
different dynasties.
Yeah, insane. I want to get into buy or sell real quick. I'm gonna give you something. You're gonna tell me you're buying or you're selling. Right off the bat, Sam Hill, buy or sell.
Rent.
Oh, you gotta tell me why, but we'll do that. Orlando Aponte, buy or sell?
I gotta buy him. It's my guy. He's a great friend of mine. He's definitely a fun person to be around, and he'll make it known. His presence is there. But I'll buy Orlando Aponte.
All right. Good coach to play for?
Great coach. Yeah, I enjoy playing for him. I mean, I know there was some rough patches like anything else, but I didn't. It is what it is. We've had some speed bumps along the way, but the only thing with that I will say is he knows the Ville has always been my name. But
he's gonna have to pay you for the royalties.
Yeah, I hope so.
The XFL. Speaking of football.
So I can't lie that I haven't watched much of it, but I'm gonna go sell. I don't know. For me, it's like it's really college, NFL, or bust. I'm not really.
You get your fill from the NFL.
Yeah, I get my fill from the NFL. Even like college, I'm not as big as a fan as I wish I was, really, to be dead honest. I do enjoy watching Notre Dame. My childhood friend loved watching them, so. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably sell that and just keep it to the NFL.
Yeah, it's not a spring sport, and I can see where people. I
won't lie. I turn it on.
Yeah,
like I'll turn it on and stuff, but.
I don't fall. I was until MLR came around, and now I'm an MLR.
Yeah.
Red Sox ownership right now.
Sell. I've I don't want to say I've given up hope, but they've put themselves in such a tough spot. That's
It's not a desired location anymore.
No, and that sucks. Yeah. Boston's like, it's always been at Celtics and Patriots, and now it's,
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I'll say this. My 20s and 30s were unbelievable with Boston sports.
It was, growing up as a Boston sports fan throughout high school, we were I went to so many parades, and it was a blessing. I went to every parade that ever, happened that I was able to go to as, a teenager and stuff, and it was...
I know. See, I didn't do well with that. I finally got to my first parade was probably 2013 World Series. I was like, I was like 29 at this point. I was like, there's been all these parades I never went.
Yeah, I have some good parade stories we'll talk about another time. But they're awesome.
I didn't miss the rest. I went to the next Patriots. I went in 2018. I'm like, hey, I can take PTO now. Last one, our coach from Save the Tatas tournament, where we had a really good run, Katie Mara.
Katie Mara,
former guest of the show.
I'm buying Katie. I love Katie. Means so well. I love to pick on her, and she knows that it's all out of love and friendship. But I'll buy Katie Mara.
Yeah, Katie's good people.
Yeah,
like
Katie means real well, and she's a very good friend. So I'll buy that.
Awesome. Well, Brett, I really appreciate you coming on today. It's been a blast.
Definitely.
Everybody out there, we're wishing you a Merry Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Keep your heads up. And until next time, let freedom.